Growing up, I always loved reading and writing, and my parents knew the importance of it and emphasized this to me from an early age.
How did you encourage reading and writing as a kid to me?
We read to you almost from the day we brought you home from the hospital. Every night before bed, even as a tiny newborn, every single night. And by the time you were 2, it was part of the routine, and you asked for it. Like, you had to be read to in order to go to bed. 2 books, 3 books, however many books it took until you were done. And then as you got a little older and learned how to write, there were no dolls. There were no, I don't know, most of your time was spent, Mom, how do you write an A? How do you write a B? How do you spell this? And just like when you were 4, you were reading full on. But you would sit at a table for hours and just write letters or draw pictures or write stories, so you thought. And you were always near me, so it was always, Mom, how do you spell? Or how do I write? Or whatever letter it was, or your favorite cartoon character. It was just kind of started from when you were a teeny baby.
I feel like one of the things that really helped to form me into the reader and writer I am today was the AR system in elementary school. This helped me to read at a very high rate and to advance quite quickly. And because the larger the books you read, the more points you earned, and I wanted all the points. So I began reading much larger books like Percy Jackson books and bigger chapter books from a younger age. And I was like the girl that would read all the big books, and I would take people's quizzes for them because they knew I had read a lot. Like, everyone knew I read. And so I feel like that really pushed me to increase my reading. But moving into middle school, that wasn't really a main focus, and language arts became one of just like another subject, and I feel like my focus became more on the science courses and the math classes, and I put a lot of my time and effort and outside of school time into those classes opposed to language arts when I could have been reading. And looking back now, that really makes me sad, but it's kind of understandable because in middle school and moving into high school, all the books became curriculum based, and so I was much less interested in them because they just weren't fun books. They were nonfiction novels and things like that, and so they just didn't really grasp my attention. And I feel like that is the point I began to not read ever. And in high school, I feel like one thing that really helped me, especially in my writing area, was Miss McClure. We were presented with many amazing novels like The Great Gatsby, and they made me realize why I used to love reading in the first place. And she also taught us so many lessons that were applicable in class and outside of class, and she gave us quite challenging topics for writing, and she was honestly kind of a hard grader, and I feel like that really helped me to push myself to become an even better writer. And this senior year, I have been presented with so many more challenging ideas in my language arts class, and I feel like that has pushed me and helped me a lot and will help me in the future. And I'm very thankful for this year because it has exposed me just to, rather than classic take a multiple choice test on this book, it's exposed me to many more compositions and what there is in the world and what will be used in my everyday life after high school.